kind of get heightened? Do you feel like these games are going to have a little extra to them, or is that just the nature of division games these days?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's they've got off to a real good start, and everybody else is kind of scratching and clawing. There'll be lots of conversation about. Then the puck drops and it's kind of forgotten about. I thought the Toronto game would be, really aggressive. It didn't seem like it was, but yeah, I mean, there'll be some energy to the game for sure.
And in terms of what you were able to do to have success against Boston back in the playoffs, can you use any of that against this version of the Boston Bruins?
Yeah, I mean, that's the version, closer to the version of the team that got up 3-1 on us with the way they're structured now. The style of game that they play hasn't changed a whole lot. The style that we're playing hasn't changed. Personnel's changed, so that may make it look a little bit different, but both teams had great success at different points in that series, and it's all about trying to get to your own game, especially this early.
Personnel changes, coaching changes. There's always changes in Boston, but they always seem to find their game, like you said, fall back on that structure. What is it about the Bruins that makes them so consistently kind of where they're at every year?
Very strong core leadership that gets handed down. So if you go back one team further, the Detroit Red Wings, that was dominant for years and years and years. When Yzerman left, they were still dominant, right? The way of doing things, the way of practicing, the professionalism. So Bergeron was there, Patrice Bergeron, Zdeno Chara, right? They have a long line of great leaders that drive the level. So it gets handed down. So that's the benefit of having those elite people that push the pace every day, that set the standards every day. It becomes who you are.
You had a lot of defensemen out there today.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, Good to see those two guys back out. And you forget how fast Montour is and how much ice Aaron can cover, but nice to have him back out for sure.
Just talking to Aaron, he, like Barkey, looks very slimmed down.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of that was he just couldn't bulk up in the summer because he had the shoulder thing, or was it just, is that kind of a getting older thing? Like
no,
you said,
I think that's a big part of it, right? As they age, they get leaner, right? They get bigger tanks and leaner at the same time. So he looks very fit. He's pushed really, really hard, both he and Montour. The advantage to an upper body injury is significant because they can go out and skate and they can drive their legs. So they're not that far off heart and lungs and leg power and strength. That'll be the pushing along the walls they haven't done a whole lot of, and the upper body stuff. They'll get that real fast.
You mentioned yesterday that you would hope that the two of them being out there with probably sparking at least short practice, but did you see a little
Yeah,
more?
you know what? Monty doesn't shut up, which is a really good thing, right? The energy the guys bring, that he's in such great shape, no matter how tired he is, he can still chirp somebody on the other side of the ice, right? And that brings an energy level to your practice. And Aaron's got a strong opinion on the ice about a good pass or a bad pass. It's great. It brings an intensity to your practice. And then just even in the simple drills they're doing, both those guys get up the ice so fast, and they're sharp with the puck. It's pretty good having them back for sure.
And as far as tomorrow goes, you keeping things pretty much the same? Or?
Well, we'll make a decision on Sam. He felt good today. This was a plan to not skate today because he went hard off the ice. Like, they pushed him real hard yesterday. So we'll see where he's at tomorrow. If he feels good, he'll take the morning skate, and then we'll make a decision. He's at the tail end of his recovery right now, so we're just trying to make sure we get this right. But at some point he's going to go in, and there's always the risk. We're trying to mitigate that at the same time. Maybe we're trying to mitigate Sam Bennett here because he's a pretty tough man. Like, he played with a broken foot without telling anybody. So we just want to make sure we got a handle on where he's feeling before we put him in.
And just skipping ahead, forget Boston, but when you guys were in Detroit, Sasha Barkov is going to set the games played record for this franchise, passing Jonathan Huberdeau, who he's buddies with.
Right.
It's like, just what does that mean? That he's going to have all the records when it's all said and done, even the good ones, the bad ones.
There's no bad ones. There's only good ones for him. It would be impressive, if he was 35. But it's incredibly impressive at his age to reach milestones for a franchise that's been around for 30 years at a young age. It just tells you the impact that he's had on this team and in hockey. And really, I believe, as we were talking about Boston's strength and their ability to be relevant for so many years, he's that leader to us. He's the guy in practice today. He wasn't feeling great, but he still drives as hard as he can in practice and sets that tone. And also sets the tone in terms of how you treat people and how you treat your teammates. So the games played is a number for him, but his real impact it's not in just games played. It's in days lived at the rink, the way we practice, the way we train, the belief when you come to the rink you have a chance to win because you've got a player like that leading your team.
How much have you learned about him over the year plus compared to maybe just what you saw from him from the other end?
Would only know him as a player and spent, you know, the 9 previous years in the West Coast, so in the Western Conference, so you wouldn't see them very much, right? Just understand that he's a force. But you would heard a lot about what kind of guy this was. So that reputation is around the league, even if you're not on the team. Didn't appreciate how a big man can move that fast, right? And how incredibly coachable he is. You ask him to do something, he's just going to go do it because it helps the team win. He's been so much fun to coach.
There's one number retired in this organization. You think Barkov's got a chance to get that 16 up in the rafters one day?
If his attitude changes,
Yeah.
you know, he starts committing himself to the team, maybe he could do something here. Yeah, he will be. You know what? Here's maybe a better way to
We're
frame it.
talking statue.
Yeah, we might be getting away. Well, we'll see. We got to do a couple things before they get to see your statue. But if you got young kids and you're buying a sweater, right, and you wonder, pro athletes are humans, right? I'd buy a Barkov sweater. You'd be real comfortable putting your kid in a Barkov sweater. That's a good man to emulate.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.